Here's how to make a vowel space quickly using Praat. First, click New, Record Mono Sound. Now, when I press record, I'm going to speak a bunch of words that have all the vowels that I want to plot. And I've made a list of them right here. These are HVD words, meaning they all begin with H, they all end in D for the most part. And so all of them have the same consonant environment. They shouldn't have any co-articulation at the beginning of the vowel, and all of them should have the same co-articulation at the end of the vowel. I'll speak them now. Heed, hid, haid, head, had, hod, hawed, hud, hoed, hood, hooed, howd, hoid, hide, height, heard, ahead. Okay, I'm going to save this as MW vowels. I'll save it to the list. You might have noticed that I have one word that ends in T, and the reason for that is I want to compare the I vowel when it comes before a voiced consonant versus when it comes before a voiceless consonant, as they're quite different in many dialects, including my own. Now we take this sound, we'll open it up. I can trim away some extra silence at the beginning and the end there. Now I'm going to zoom into a few vowels just to make sure that the formant tracking looks good. In the first three, the formant tracking looks smooth, in that even if I turn the formants off, I can see where they are, and when I turn them on, the formants show up where I expect them to be. Now as I scroll along though, you'll see that for some of these vowels, the formant tracking looks a little bit off, okay, and in some of them, it's going to look like it's making some pretty severe mistakes. Like in this case, the second formant just drops out and we have this weird dot down here. In this case, the first formant is curling up and then reappearing down there. And the reason for this is that my formant settings aren't set to my voice. So I'm going to open that up, and this turns out to be the most important thing to think about. So for my voice, 5,000 hertz is basically the range where I should expect to find 5 formants. Now if I apply those settings, we'll see that this formant track corrected itself. Now as I scroll back through the rest of the vowels, I want to make sure that I didn't sacrifice those just to save that one vowel, and for the most part I still see pretty good tracking. If you don't have good success with 5,000 or 5,500 hertz, one option you can do is just look for 4 formants, say under 4,200 hertz. And for the most part, it'll still look pretty good. Okay, now that I'm done making sure the formant settings are good, I'm going to annotate this sound. Click Annotate to textgrid. I'm going to type in one tier name, vowels, and I'm going to not make it a point tier. I'll press OK. Now I can have 2 objects selected at once. I've just clicked and dragged over both of them, and I'll view and edit them together. Now all I'm going to do is find the onset and offset of the vowel, click and drag over it, press the Enter key, and what that did was just create 2 boundaries in this tier. And because this is the E vowel, I'll type in a little code for E. Here I have the I vowel. And I'm just going to keep doing this for all the different vowels. And notice that I'm trying to take care to not include the H and not include any part of the D. So I'll continue marking up these vowels as we go along here. You'll notice that I have a special code here for the vowels that I'm annotating because I'm not typing an international phonetic alphabet. I'm not typing the IPA code. Instead, I'm just going to type in a 2-character symbol that I know I can convert later. Here I have that vowel that I mentioned before. It's the I vowel, but it's before a voiceless sound. So I don't want to have the same code for I in hide as I do for I in height. So here I'm actually going to add a T just to let myself know that this ends in a voiceless sound. Here I have this 2-syllable word, ahead. And so what I want to do here is not really care about the in ahead, but care about the first syllable, which has a schwa. And in this case, I'll just put 2 X's for the schwa. It doesn't really matter what code you use, as long as you remember what it was. Alright, now that I'm done annotating, I'm going to save both of these sounds just for good bookkeeping. I'll save it as a WAV file. MW vowels. I'll save the text grid as a text file. Again, just MW vowels. And now what I want to do is make a formant object from the sound. I'll click on it, analyze spectrum to formant with the Berg algorithm, and I'm going to use the same settings that I used to verify the formants when I was looking at the sound. 4200 Hertz, and within that range I'll look for 4 formants. And I'll use a 40 millisecond window length. Alright, now what I need it to do is scroll through these different intervals, and when it comes across an interval that has a label, cross-check these same time points in the formant object and report them back to me in a table. So now what I need to do is write a script that goes through this interval tier here. When it comes across an interval region that has a label, then it should cross-check that same time point within the formant object and report back those formant values in a table corresponding to that vowel. Here's a script that does that. So at the top of the script, I'm telling it what sound to use and how many time points to extract, and the fact that I'm marking the vowels on the first tier. It's going to create a table with some column names about the time, the index, and all 3 formants. And what it's going to do is work through that text grid, go through each interval, and if the interval doesn't have an empty label, then it's obviously something I want to track. It's going to find that time point for the beginning and end of that vowel, and then go back to the formant and extract time points at 10 equally spaced times. It's going to set those values in the table, and when it's done, it'll just end itself in a loop. So what I'm going to do is select all of this, copy it, and then open up a new Praat script in Praat. I'm going to paste what I just copied, and now I can run it. I'll click Run. And now what it did is it produced a table with all my formant values. So for each value, I have 10 different times. I have the time within the vowel, I have the absolute time in the sound, and I have the first, second, and third formant for each of those times. To visualize this, I'm going to save this as a comma-separated file, and I'll call it myformants.table. You can really name it anything you want. Now we're going to visualize those vowel formants using R. I've set the directory for where I saved those files, and I'm going to tell it to read in that table of formants. You can see that it's in wide data format, and this is going to be useful for when we want to plot our vowel charts. This next part converts our 2-character code into actual IPA symbols. For example, when we typed AE, what we really want is the phonetic symbol A. And when we typed XX, what we really wanted was schwa. So this object here will be good for when we can index what we wrote here and then use that from the lookup table, and then we have in the end is all IPA symbols. This will look better on the chart. Here, what I'm going to do is just present a list of vowels that I don't necessarily want to plot in this analysis. What the next bit of code does is group over every time point and summarize what the first formant value was. This is not going to do anything for this particular recording I made because I only recorded each vowel once. But suppose you're analyzing many different instances of each vowel, what you might want to do is average over all of these, and that's what this little line of code does. It summarizes, and then what it does here is smooths over 3 samples at a time to create a rolling average. This will just smooth out that formant trajectory. And then here, what we have is another data frame where all we're doing is taking the endpoints of that trajectory. Notice that I could be setting this at 10 to get the very final value, but the 10th time point or the last time point is sometimes just reflective of the next consonant that's being spoken, and so I'm going to cut that a little bit short here. In fact, I could go a little bit shorter than that, but I'll just leave it at 9 for now. And then finally, we're ready for plotting. So I'm going to take that summarized data frame, I'm going to make sure that I'm leaving out the first and last time points, because usually you get a little bit of messiness right at the end. I'll send it into the ggplot function, and assign the F2 value, the smooth version, to the horizontal axis, the F1 to the vertical axis, and I'll make sure each vowel is plotted by itself and has its own color. I'm going to plot the trajectory of the formants over time using the path, and then I'm going to plot the actual IPA symbol at the end of the path. Another little thing I'm doing here is plotting the IPA symbol again over itself, just to make it a little bit darker. It's a little bit transparent here, just to make sure it's visible. I'm going to reverse both axes, because that's what we typically do when we plot vowel charts, and make sure that there's no legend. So I'll run that here, and then here's my vowel space. Okay, so this is just residing in our little preview window here, but what we want is to actually save it. So I'll use the ggsave function. I'll set my height and width of the output, declare the file name, and I can set the resolution of the image. I can make it a pretty low quality image by just 96 dpi. I can make it super high quality with 600. And when I save that, it's going to actually show up on my computer, and we can look at it here. There are some notable patterns to observe here. First, most of the vowels in English have dynamic formant movement. That's true not just for the diphthongs ow, oi, and I, but also true for e, a, and which, by the way, starts much farther and lower back than what you might expect from a vowel chart diagram. And you can also see the aforementioned trajectory of I in hide, which starts closer to a, versus I in height, which starts closer to . Using this simple procedure, you can appreciate the dynamics of your vowels and those of anyone's voice you record. For example, I recorded a speech by Dr. Anthony Fauci, and using this procedure, I annotated the positions of select vowels in his speech and produced Dr. Fauci's vowel space, which you can see here, with an added image and face mask, obviously. Notice you can see the signatures of his dialect, notably the fronted oo, the raised aw, and the I that starts way back, and which is abbreviated before a voiceless consonant. Some notes of caution here before you go and make your vowel chart. First, your formant chart is only as accurate as your formant settings. Don't do this automatically. Check your formant tracks to make sure they don't contain any weird discontinuities. If your formant tracking is garbage, then your vowel chart will also be garbage. Vowel formants are heavily affected if the next sound is a nasal, and also whether the next sound is a r or l or an approximant. So even if you find vowels in these environments, try to find those vowels elsewhere in a cleaner phonetic environment. Formant contours reflect neighboring consonants. For example, here we see the spectrogram of bo, do, go. Notice how the formants are quite different at the onsets. That's why you might want to exclude the very beginning or end of the contours. I hope you can use these tools to have fun and make a vowel space of yourself or your favorite public health expert.